All right, ladies and gentlemen, you see it on the screen. This cute woman has a bald head and she thinks she wants to live the monk lifestyle, which you're not which is not going to solve anything if you're just trying to avoid society in general, but let's see if this is a better choice than being married and having a family. Let's see.
终于剃光头了，有没有吓到你们呀？
I have finally made an important decision. I shaved my head completely. Are you surprised in front of your screens? What do you think about how I look now? Still decent, right?
You are.
Actually, I had this idea for a long time but kept hesitating. In the end, I decided to make this change. I'm curious to hear your thoughts about my decision. I hope I haven't disappointed anyone. From today, I officially embark on the path of becoming a monk, dedicating myself to a life of practice. In the future, I will focus on chanting scriptures and spiritual cultivation, striving to become a true nun as soon as possible. Honestly, I believe many of you must be shocked. After all, shaving my head like this wasn't an easy decision. It really required a lot of courage. Reaching this point today, I know some people might feel puzzled and ask various questions, like, why did you shave your head? Why choose to become a monk? To be honest, there are no fixed answers or specific reasons to these questions. I just wanted to completely transform myself, from the inside out, from thoughts to appearance, to undergo a full-fledged rebirth. As for how I feel after shaving my head, I think the biggest feeling is that I've changed. It's not just an external change, but an inner transformation as well.
You know, it's like she's trying to find herself, being that she knows she's not fitting in with societal norms, so she's going to try the other route, which you could just focus completely on something different.
I have no regrets about my decision today. If I could turn back time and have another chance to choose, I might have chosen to become a monk even earlier and embarked on this path sooner.
Wow.
So there's no need for anyone to feel confused or question my actions. Everyone has their own choices, and everyone has their own path. No matter how others see it, I believe the most important thing is how I feel inside. As long as I'm happy, that's enough. The reason I shaved my head and chose to become a monk is to fundamentally change myself and let go of all attachments. This lifetime, I've made up my mind not to get married or pursue so-called romantic relationships anymore. The past loves, and all worldly entanglements no longer hold any attraction for me. From now on, I only want to focus on spiritual practice, chanting scriptures, cultivating my mind and body, and living a simple and peaceful life. To my surprise, when my mom saw me shave my head, she didn't show any disapproval. On the contrary, she fully supported my decision and even felt happy for me. Over the years, my mom has experienced significant personal growth through her own spiritual practice. She has become more peaceful, learned to let go of many things, and adopted a more open mindset.
Now, see, in the West, men typically avoid women that are deeply ingrained in religion and church, especially on the black side of things in America, which we only make up 13 to 15% of the population in America anyway. So, you know, women that are deeply ingrained in the church, we usually stay away from them. So this is pretty much another way to look towards something spiritual. So yeah, so either you're going to be part of society or you're going to look for another way to cope through whatever's going on in your life.
Our thoughts align well now. We both believe that in my past life, I may have committed too many wrongdoings, so in this life, I need to repent sincerely and accumulate good deeds.
Sounds like she's trying to reinvent the wheel. So we're not going to judge her. We're not going to say she did this and that. We're not going to say she's a 304 because we really don't know. If anything, maybe it was the other way around. Something happened to her many of times.
Life is fleeting and transient, so we've decided to devote the remaining days to spiritual cultivation and inner peace. I now have a clear plan for my future. I intend to spend the rest of my life in a monastery, no marriage, no children. This life without attachments feels light and free. As for my new identity, my friends can call me by my Dharma name, Jingxin. You can also call me Master Jingxin or Sister Jingxin. I hope that in the days ahead, I can progress further on the path of spiritual practice and achieve true inner peace.
好想出家当尼姑啊。
This woman looks very familiar, don't she?
I've
She
really
does.
been
I think she was one of the girls that was at the what do you call that? The dating market. Yeah, she was at the dating market in the park. going off about her age and everything, and people were turning her down. Yeah, that was her. I'm just
Wanting to become a nun lately. It feels like I'll never find the love I want, and I probably won't get married in this lifetime. If it weren't for the fact that I still have my little cat to take care of,
Oh my
I swear,
God.
sometimes I really do want to become a nun. I feel like I'm becoming more and more desperate.
感觉最近好颓废啊。
Lately, I've been feeling incredibly down. Nothing seems to interest me, and I can't bring myself to be in a good mood. I don't even want to look at my phone. In short, I just can't muster up any energy for anything. One of my friends, who is even younger than me, she's only 26, told me yesterday that she's planning to get married by the end of the year and invited me to be her bridesmaid. But I can't help feeling overwhelmed by complicated emotions. It's really hard to bear. Her future in-laws have given her 78,000 yuan to buy a gold ring, a gold necklace, and a gold bracelet. The betrothal gift money is separate from that. Sigh, all my peers, and even people younger than me, are getting married one after another. Some of them even have kids already. But here I am, at 31 years old.
And this is where we stop it. And this pretty much goes for everybody. The problem is, with people in general, all around the world, the worst thing you could do is compare yourself to other people, especially your own friends and everything. You can't live like everybody else. And if you feel like you need to be like everybody else, then you need to look in the mirror and ask some questions to yourself. Why do I want to be like them? You don't have to be like them. You just feel like you have to be like them to please everybody. You want to be on the same level as everybody else, but it's like you can't. It's like there's always going to be somebody that has more than you. Like, let's say the richest people in the world. Well, you're not number one, but you're number 9. But you're so worried about being number 1 or above that person that's already number 1. Well, it doesn't work that way because they have problems and go through things just like you do too. So being ahead of somebody isn't always the greatest thing because that comes with challenges too, just as not having enough has challenges.
Still stuck in the phase of picking and choosing, without even a boyfriend. I feel like I'm completely out of sync with everyone else. Yesterday at noon, I was having lunch alone and happened to run into a former classmate. I remember her posting updates on...
And see, this is another reason why I like these videos, because I like to watch and get ideas how these single women cook. These women look like they could chef up a good meal, even though they're by themselves. They're not cooking for a whole family. So they're cooking a small size ration of food. And see, for somebody like me, I live by myself too. So I kind of get ideas how they cook.
Her social media about being a stay-at-home mom. Back then, I thought her life seemed quite busy. However, when we met yesterday, she told me she's already returned to work. She's the same age as me, yet her child is already 3 years old. Hearing this, I couldn't help but feel a deep sense of pressure. I didn't even know what to say while chatting with her. Their lives revolve around their children, but as for me, I'm neither married nor planning a wedding, let alone having any parenting experiences to share. It's just like what many people say, as you get older, if you're still not married or haven't had children, you'll find it increasingly hard to have common topics with your peers. Naturally, your circle of friends will shrink. I resonate with this deeply and feel like I'm gradually being isolated within my social circle.
Slightly true. As you get older, your social circle does shrink, but it also depends. That's why you need to find new hobbies too and get out more, because staying in the house and playing video games don't really do any justice either. And I see a lot of people doing that now too. I'm talking about, especially for the men, guys that are younger than me, guys that are still in their 20s. I'm in my late 30s, so I pretty much already know what it is now. And luckily, I have some cool enough hobbies, like I'm a car enthusiast, photographer, just things like that. There's a lot of things that I'm into. I'm good with tools, hands.
To be honest, I truly feel very defeated. Everyone around me is either getting married or having kids, while I don't even have a boyfriend. Honestly, I used to think that by the time I turned 26, I'd have already gotten married and had kids, living a stable family life. But now, at 31, I've realized that reality is completely different from my expectations. Forget about marriage and kids, I don't even have the courage to think about those things.
And see, you can't really judge these people because see, now a lot of people are taking the advantage of time to value peace. People are choosing peace over drama. because with all the societal norms of what we're supposed to do comes with a lot of issues. So a lot of people just refuse to deal with that. They just want to make money, travel, enjoy their hobbies and whatever else they want to do. Have a couple flings here and there. They just don't want to take it seriously. So that's another thing you have to feel too. There's probably a lot of guys that she likes, but she just doesn't want to settle for them. So that's another thing you got to look at.
Things anymore. Sometimes, I even feel that when I turn 35, I might still not have found the right person. That said, I'm starting to come to terms with it. If I really reach 35 and still haven't found someone suitable, then I might just stop looking altogether. Living alone actually has its perks, freedom and independence. Sometimes, I even think that if I end up with no one to marry, becoming a nun might not be such a bad choice. Living a quiet and solitary life in a monastery might even bring more peace and reassurance. Honestly, if I were to marry someone I don't love just for the sake of being married, only to end up in an unhappy marriage, I wouldn't be able to accept that.
And see, that's just it. A lot of people are in unhappy marriages. They're just not going to tell their spouse that to their face, but they'll say it to their family and everybody else. And that's kind of messed up too, because you're telling everybody else you're unhappily married, but your significant other doesn't know that. So we just call that being fake. You're pretending to be happy, but then let's just be real. For the people that have been married for decades, they just can't afford to be single because they done racked up too much debt. They own properties, the cars. It's just a hot mess to divorce. So they just put up and settle for cheating. So, and then once the sex stops in the household, once you stop having sex with your spouse, you guys are pretty much roommates. And even if that's not even 50-50, because let's just forget it. The 50-50 thing is a facade. Because in most marriages, most men are paying most of the bills. Most of the women are keeping their money if they have any to begin with. So, yeah.
There are so many examples of this in real life. Why force yourself to fit in with societal expectations when you can live a happy and fulfilling life alone? This is why I've been feeling so down these past couple of days. Seeing others get married and have children while I seem to be stuck in the middle of nowhere, it's such a complex feeling.
我真的想出家了，我跟你们说，不开
This is the most attractive girl so far.
玩笑的。我现在很强烈的想法就是，
Recently, I've been feeling an increasingly strong urge to become a monk. This thought is very intense, and I'm not joking. I genuinely have a pressing desire to escape from the worldly troubles and complex interpersonal relationships.
Huh.
I'm 33 years old and currently working in sales. Due to my work, I've recently interacted with all kinds of clients. One
Oh,
of them,
God.
a 60-year-old man, often hints at how superior his conditions are, in subtle ways. He keeps talking about how much money he has and sharing details about his past that completely shocked me. He told me he had many girlfriends, one of whom started dating him when she was just 17.
Whoa.
That relationship lasted 8 years. Moreover, his current wife used to be his mistress, and he is not shy at all about admitting these things. While sharing all this, he constantly hints at me. He says that a woman's quality of life entirely depends on her own choices. Oh my God, every time I hear these things, my mind just explodes. I find it completely unacceptable. I think society is just disgusting. He even said he most appreciates people who can give him an excellent service experience. With every sentence he utters, I find him more revolting. I really don't understand how anyone can talk about others in such a way.
And mind you, she's 33. And she doesn't like how this older man is speaking on life. Now, see, these older guys tend to lead with their wallet. That's why they're able to get these 20-year-old girls. And I feel like the older these guys become, the younger that they go. So he had a 17-year-old that lasted 8 years. So he must have been in his late 40s or early 50s when around the time that happened, based on the math. But that's crazy though. 8 years. So that means she was almost 25 about the time that relationship ended. He should have put a ring on that.
I simply can't tolerate these nouveau riche types who have no culture or manners. They rely on having a bit of money to boss others around and assume they can easily control other people's lives.
Yeah, so that's another thing too. People with money, they think that they can control other people with it. I mean, what do you think P. Diddy and all them were doing with those young girls that they had? And then people usually with money treat people like shit anyway, right? So that's another thing you gotta look after. So a lot of these young girls that are with these older men are being treated like shit. Because more than likely, even though the guy is older and wiser and has his money right, he's probably a trash human being. I'm not saying not all of them, but just a lot of times you gotta remember, the guy that has the money is doing anything she desires. So they both pretty much get what they want. The young girl gets what she wants materialistically, while he gets what he wants sexually. This PYT, pretty young thing.
He shows no basic respect for women. I can't help but wonder, what's wrong with this society?
It sounds like he looks at younger women like objects. And then, see, you got to understand, when guys get older, as they tend to do better financially, they start to look for younger and younger women. That's why they go to a lot of these foreign countries and try to buy younger women. Yeah, you heard me. I said buy. So they'll have 2 or 3 15-year-old girls while they sitting on the MacBook working in their room.
Does having money make all men this repulsive? This makes me feel utterly hopeless.
Oh, God.
What's even worse are some of his opinions. For instance, he says he particularly admires people who are willing to spend money and provide special services.
What?
I was so angry I wanted to slam the table. The thing I hate most in this life is people who want to gain something without putting in any effort. This lifestyle is especially disgusting to me. I can't understand why some people can easily earn much more than ordinary people without making any effort. I completely disagree with this kind of value system.
You know, she seemed kind of old school. I kind of like the way she thinks. Well, tell you what, you fly out to Oakland, I'll pick you up.
My sales job has made me feel deeply aware of the prejudice women face in society, especially women who are even slightly good-looking. Almost everyone looks at you through tinted glasses, makes comments about your appearance, or tells inappropriate jokes. Society is far too superficial. I've come to deeply understand that women in this field, especially those with better looks, often have to endure more pressure and judgment than others. This leaves me feeling exhausted and helpless, and my mental state is deteriorating day by day.
Uh-oh.
What bothers me even more is that I'm already 33, and I still haven't met a suitable boyfriend. Honestly, my requirements aren't that high.
Yeah, and based on what she said about the old men, which 60 is not old, we know that. 60, you just wiser and you got more money than you did when you was 35. But yeah, that's crazy. So if her requirements aren't that high, that means she's not a gold digger, right? Or at least that's what we think. We don't know.
I just want someone who is at least 1.75 meters tall, has a proper job, earns no less than 15,000 yuan a month, and looks average. If he has fair skin, that would be even better. Ideally, he should own a fully paid house in my local area. As for a car, we can buy one together after getting married. Regarding the bride price...
All right, now see, we hear all these girls say that you have to have a house and a car. When they say you have to have a house, they want it to be paid off. They don't want you still making the mortgage payments every month. But when it comes to the car, they're not really saying that. And they're not saying whether you have to have something better than a Honda Accord or a Toyota Camry. I'm like, I don't have to have a G-Wagon or nothing, do I? Just as long as the wheels aren't bald. And yeah.
I don't think I'm asking for too much. 288,000 yuan would be enough. Even though I'm 33, isn't it reasonable for me to expect a man no older than 37? Why can't I find someone like this?
Because of the economy. The economy in China is shit just like it is here in the West. Everything is too damn expensive. People in their 30s all the way up to their 40s are living at home trying to save money, so then when they meet the right person, they can buy a house. So maybe you need to find somebody to buy a house and a car with. That's a simple solution. And see, it's kind of the same in the West. It's looked down upon to live with family or 5 other roommates. You're supposed to at least have an apartment. And it don't even have to be in the best neighborhood. Just as long as you made the effort to get out on your own and pretty much find your way through life to pay the rent.
I really believe my requirements are quite normal, but in reality,
I can't seem to find anyone who meets them. This leaves me feeling extremely frustrated and helpless. The combination of work pressure and emotional confusion is making my condition worse and worse lately. Sometimes, I really think it might be better to become a monk than to deal with all of this. Just imagine living at the foot of a mountain or in a temple, where I wouldn't have to worry about food or shelter, nor deal with these complicated interpersonal relationships and chaotic situations. I wouldn't have to fret about my relationship problems either. Such a life sounds so appealing. I could live simply and peacefully, far away from the hustle and bustle of society. Recently, I've even added becoming a monk to my life goals.
Jeez.
This isn't something I'm saying casually. It's something I've seriously considered.
假如我是你老婆，你晚上几点回家？
If I were your wife, what time would you come home at night?
I'll be at home at 8 o'clock, baby. Maybe even 9 o'clock.
Yesterday, a man sent me a private message
Uh-oh.
claiming that if he were to marry me, he would rather retreat from the world and become a monk, staying away from the troubles of this world, than return home. I couldn't help but laugh and cry. Is it because I'm not attractive enough, or is my personality unacceptable to others? I'm only 37 years old this year.
That's
Have I
it?
become so undesirable that people find it unbearable to spend their lives with me? Do I look so ordinary that I neither attract nor leave a deep impression on anyone?
Look, check this out. For any of the women out there that's watching this, fly out to SFO from Hong Kong. I'll be there in the quickie.
Am I really so unworthy that people avoid me at first sight, even to the point of wanting to renounce the mundane world? In fact, I know very well that I'm not the type of stunning beauty, but I'm certainly not ugly. Many people say my beauty isn't about being eye-catching.
Now, see, you notice when I do these videos, I'm not really judgmental on how people look, because we all can't look good, can we? I ain't the best looking dude. I know there's other dudes that look better than me, but I don't care about looks so much. Like, I don't stare in the mirror for 10 minutes. Oh, I look good, but this person look better than me. No, I just know that I look good enough to get women. Yeah. And I'm far above average in other parts of life as well, too, so.
But rather about standing the test of time. I have a round face, always exuding a sense of kindness and good fortune.
Her face don't really look that round. She has some nice eyes, though. She has more of an oval face.
Looking like aged wine that gets better with time. Some even say that people with round faces are associated with wealth, symbolizing a harmonious home and happiness. Marrying me would be the best symbol of a happy family and a smooth life, wouldn't it? Although my appearance may not be luxurious, I have a unique charm that adds warmth and joy to every ordinary day. If you choose to walk through life with me, you'll find that I bring more than just stability to your days.
Yeah, you talking all this shit. Like I said, book a flight from Hong Kong or Beijing, wherever you at, to SFO. Preferably Oakland. That way I could avoid a bridge. Those of you that have been to SFO, you know it gets real crazy.
I also bring peace to your soul. Marrying me means your life will be filled with harmony, and your days will be brightened with color.
All right.
As for those who say they want to become monks upon seeing me, they're just men I don't find interesting, dissatisfied, and making absurd remarks. Although I am 37 years old, I'm firm in my belief that I should find a partner according to my standards. After all, marriage is a lifetime matter. If I were to marry a man I don't like, it wouldn't be him becoming a monk. It would be me choosing to become a nun and stay away from someone I can't tolerate. If I manage to find a suitable partner this year, I would like to say to him, our relationship can't possibly be measured by just appearances. In this home, I am not only your companion, but also your emotional support. No matter how noisy and complicated the world outside may be, I will always be the one who provides you with a safe harbor.
All right, so she sound like when you come home, she gonna have the oils and scents burning. She gonna have the essential oils burning, the lavender oils, everything neat, cleaned up, and just provide this comfortable environment from a hard day's work of work. But, I mean, I work in a hospital. I don't work out in the field. So, I mean, for those of you that work in hospitals, you know that could be a stressful environment too. You got to deal with people, sick ones, loved ones, families, and everything. So when I come home, I want you to take the pain away.
I am willing to use my tenderness and understanding to build a warm home for you, so that no matter how tumultuous the world is, You will always find peace and happiness when you return home.
Basically, she's saying she wants to create a sanctuary for her husband. These women talk all these shit, but let's see how serious they really are. What does this girl have to say? She looks young.
我已经想好了，一切随缘吧。是我的，逃也逃不掉。
I have figured it out. Everything will go with the flow. If something is meant to be mine, no matter how much I try to avoid it, I can't escape it. If it's not mine, there's no use rushing it. I plan to go to Guangzhou tomorrow to continue developing my career. Life at home isn't easy either. To be honest, although my parents aren't bad to me, when it comes to marriage, our relationship is pretty much strained. It's not that I don't want to get married, but I haven't found the right person yet. Those I don't like, I can't accept, and those who like me, I don't want.
And see, that's pretty much how it is everywhere around the world. You like them, but they don't like you. Like, the feeling's never mutual. So you feel like you'll never find your perfect match. But a lot of people are told they're too picky when they've tried to give people chances, but the other person didn't reciprocate the same energy that way. So, no, it's not. A lot of people aren't picky, but there's a good percentage of people that are picky.
The people who like me either have strange personalities or aren't attractive enough to spark my interest.
Whoa.
Some are divorced with children, or they're so old that they could almost be my father. As for those I like, they always think I'm too old to have children, or they feel insecure because I'm too successful.
Oh, God.
Honestly, sometimes it feels so difficult. I'm 39.
Read that bottom sentence. So difficult. I'm 39 now. Yeah, that's why a lot of people don't want to have kids with you. Sorry, but but you know, that's the new thing. A lot of people are waiting to have kids later on in life. But a lot of people are just going to figure, well, that's something you should have did when you was 25 or 30 to have your first child. Now, if you was on like your second or third child, maybe having a kid at 39 wouldn't have been so bad. But the person that you want to have kids with is going to wonder, what were you doing all this time that now you want to start a family? Have you really couldn't find the right person, or were you just being too picky?
Now, a typical leftover woman in her late 30s. But my life is pretty good now. I can do whatever I want.
Oh, God.
If I want to buy something, I can because I have a car. If I'm unhappy, I can travel and no one stops me, but the premise is that I can't be short of money. As for marriage, I think when it's meant to happen, it will. There's no use rushing it. Because I've cried over this before, been depressed, even had a huge argument with my parents about it, and in the end, I'm still alone. So there's really no point in being conflicted.
You know what? I'll probably pick her up at SFO too. Can't just go with one option.
It's better to earn more money and give myself a sense of security. If I want a child, I plan to do IVF next year and have a baby on my own.
But see, here's the problem. When you're dealing with leftover women, or so-called leftover women, and they want kids too as well, so whoever ends up with this woman, they're going to be forced to have a kid with her right away probably. And that's usually the case with older women, versus if she was 25, she wouldn't rush you probably. But not unless she wanted to have a kid before she was 30. But this woman's pushing 40, and she doesn't want kids now. She wants kids right now.
I'll be both a father and mother.
Oh,
This
God.
world only happens once, and I don't think I should sacrifice my happiness for marriage and live unhappily. Now, thinking clearly about this is really more important than anything else. If I really have no other choice, my final decision might be to become a nun at the age of 45 in a temple. Anyway, I will never force myself to settle for marriage. If it comes to that, I'd rather never get married. People always say, smile, and you'll look 10 years younger.
And when she does look good for 39, I'm not going to lie. I just don't think I can match up to her mentality.
Happiness is a day, and unhappiness is also a day. So I will cheer for my own life. Will you wish me well?
I wish you will.
Wish me happiness every day, looking younger day by day. Wish me to meet my domineering CEO soon. Wish me to have 10 children. Wish all my dreams come true, and wish me to always have someone who loves me. On rainy days, I wish there's a man to give me an umbrella.
God damn, girl, you nuttier than a fruitcake. Damn. If she did come to the airport, I'd probably drive past her. God damn.
When it's cold, I wish there's a man to put a jacket on me. When I feel unwell, I wish someone will take care of me.
In most cases, we often hear people say, life is so hard. If it really doesn't work out, just become a monk. Many people see becoming a monk as a form of liberation, thinking that by becoming a monk, they can escape the troubles of the world. However, this view is too simplistic. Wherever there are people, there is a complex world of relationships. Becoming a monk is actually entering one world of intrigue to enter another. In a temple, there are also many complex interpersonal relationships and power struggles. The scheming and backstabbing are no less than what you're facing right now.
So basically, he's saying you're still gonna have problems. Yeah. So running away to be a monk, running away to the mountains or to the forest somewhere to be a monk, it's not the end all be all. It's half of a solution, but just don't think it's gonna be perfect. I mean, pretty much everything is a flaw, but it might be a flaw that's worse than what you're already in, right? So it's really up to you. That's like me moving out of America, let alone California. I don't want to move out of California. I've been here my whole life. I don't want to move to Mississippi because I know if I move out of California, wherever I end up at, it's going to be less than of where I'm at now. And I live in a very affluent community. Thank God. Thank God I'm able to afford it. I just got to, keep my head up and keep the grind up. But you get what I'm saying. Other than that, I hope you guys learned something in this. This is very interesting, as it was interesting to me too. This is Kylie Vale. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Catch you next time.